What's up, guys? Garrett. I am working on a deuce, and big surprise, things didn't go as I planned. I'm looking at putting another motor in my deuce, and it's not going to be the Cummins yet because things are going to take a little longer than I expected. It's an expensive project. So today I'm going to show you what is involved with removing a motor from a deuce and a half for a swap. You want to remove your grill, which is 3/4 inch nuts and bolts. There's only 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, one each side. Usually are fine thread, self-locking. Your nose panels, there's 2 of them, 2 separate ones. You've got 3 9/16 through bolts. You'll have to hold the back up on it. There's nuts on the back. You're going to have 2 7/16 bolts here in the corner. They're kind of hidden, and you've got to put your arm over the top and hold a wrench, and then go under the fender. And I use an impact with a socket just to zip them off real quick, so you're not like bear hugging the fender for too long, because that shit is annoying. So of course you'll remove your turbo inlet piping, your exhaust, your starter, your power from the battery. Of course you'll want to have your batteries disconnected first. This truck's been sitting a long time, doesn't even have batteries in it. So disconnect the main power from the solenoid, and your main ground, which is behind that draft tube there, is another 7/8. That's the ground to the frame. You'll want to remove that. There's no alternator on this motor, so it goes without saying. On the back of the nose panel, there's 1 7/16 nut holding the wire loom on for the plugs for the headlights. Your temperature sensor, and if you still have it equipped, your your plugs for your flame heater. That'll need to come off. There should be a retainer bolted to the intake horn. If not, no big deal, just disconnect it all, hanging out of the way. Your vent tube. This is the vent from both your fuel tank and your air pack. They both vent from this, and it goes into the road draft tube. Now this wasn't done on this truck, but an MWO removed this from that because it was putting, they're having problems with it contaminating the brake system and all with engine oil vapors. So what they did is they just put one of those spring-loaded douchebag caps on here that always plugs up, and they bent it straight up and then looped it around, bent a loop in it, so it's no longer connected to the road draft. If your engine doesn't have a lot of blow-by, it's not really necessary. You can leave it hooked into there. So, and in fact, maybe this has this fuel tank and air pack separated. So there's one. I haven't actually traced them out because I'm not going to do anything with this truck. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about. Now they pinched that closed. I don't know. This truck is kind of wacky and messed up in a lot of different ways, but that's why I'm pulling the motor out of it. So as far as the transmission goes, and this is already half done for me, you will want to remove you don't have to remove the seats and all. You can just remove the front cover, and then you'll want to remove this cover as well. And then believe me, if you don't, it will fight you. You need to take this whole top cover off of the transmission, and then unbolt your jack shaft. 4 bolts right there. Those are 3/4, 2 I think. These are all 9/16. Zip them out, and the cover just, I mean, you might have to bump it or move the shifter wiggle, and it'll pop off. Good idea to drain the oil before you take it out, so when you pull the motor out, it's going to tilt and dump oil everywhere otherwise. So that's all you got to worry about in here as far as that goes. Your tachometer cable, which has already, I don't even think they ever hooked it up. I think they put this motor in this truck and they like never got it running, because there was a bunch of shit that was only like halfway hooked up. Anyway, your tack cable, You see it's laying there and running down. It connects, or would connect. Let's see if I can see it. Not really, not very well. Oh, there it is. Connects right there, that thing, which is facing the wrong way because it wasn't hooked up. You want to take that out. Your air line, your air supply line, the line to your governor from the compressor goes up to the firewall. The governor would be right there. It's been removed. What else? Of course, you take this headlight panel off the same as the other one. It's just a mirror image. Oh shit, I'm gonna fall off of this bumper if I'm not careful. So, your engine stop cable. Don't forget to remove that because it will just tear it off when you pull the motor out. This one was conveniently missing the cotter pin, so I was just able to wiggle it out. You'll want to remove the cable shield retainer. It's a 7/16 bolt. And also, don't forget to remove your throttle linkage, which is this right here. They've got a 1/4 inch bolt in it because they lost the pin, I guess. If you don't remove that, it'll snap the arm and the shaft off of the pump, and then your injector pump is garbage. Let's see. Then you've got your fuel return line, which this just goes down to the frame and then back to the tank. Crosses over on the cross member under the transmission. And your fuel supply line is right down there on the bottom of the injector pump. After that, you've got 4 motor mount bolts. They are a 7/8 or 15/16. I don't know. It's been a couple years since I pulled a motor out of one of these. 1 on each side on the rear, 2 in the middle on the front. Ugh, shit, I hurt my knees. Okay, so these are your radiator mounts. You don't need to worry about those. These are your motor mounts. So you've got to get a wrench in on top to hold it, and then on the bottom you go in, you see those 2 access holes with a socket and an impact, and pull the, well, zip the nuts off of the bolts. After that, I suggest that you unbolt at least the front of the cab. Okay, on the inside right here, if you get underneath and you look in from the inside, you can see them. There are a couple of bolts. I think they're, if memory serves me, they're 5/8. Right where this pad is, that's your insulator. So there's a bolt and a spring right here. If you either remove or loosen those up and get a pry bar in here and pick up on the cab and stick like a piece of 2x4 in there just to give you a little space, it will really help you, because when you go to pick it up, you can't get those motor mount bolts all out, particularly the one on the other side, and you can't pick the motor up high enough off the frame for the bolt to clear the hole in the mount. So you need the cab spaced up just a little more in order to get that motor to come up and slide forward. Otherwise, you end up fucking up the floor pan in the cab on the other side. And in fact, let me see if I can show you on mine. Yeah. Now you can't tell it anymore very well, but when I changed the motor out in this last time, I forgot about that and I went to pick it up on it, and it actually pushed this floor pan up, and it broke my it broke the seam right here and cracked my bed liner that I sprayed in here. So that's just proof of positive of what I'm telling you. Pick the cab up a little bit or you're gonna fuck your floor pans up. So I'm lucky that wasn't a lot worse than it was. I was able to just smack it with a hammer a couple of times, and well, a 3-pound hammer, and it went right back in line. Anyway, that's it. I mean, the radiator and the transmission and the engine all come out together, so you don't need to disconnect any of the rest of it from each other. It's actually kind of nice. If you've got a winch truck, you will have to remove the winch, because you just can't clear the winch and everything else when you're coming out with it, and you don't want to destroy anything. So, you know, believe me, it's just easier if you go ahead and remove the winch. It's not a big deal. It's 12 bolts, 6 on each side, and it comes out. You can remove the radiator if you want. It really doesn't make it a whole lot easier, to be honest, especially if you're just swapping the whole pack. You know, pull the whole power pack out, slide the whole new power pack in, or into another truck. That's what I'm going to do with this one. This radiator and all is going in mine, but I'm going to put my transmission on this one because I have the Waterloo overdrive kit in my transmission. So, other than that, I don't know what else to tell you. It's pretty straightforward. These things are really simple. It's like working on an old tractor, which, I mean, the White and Hercules and Continental multifuels in this originally were a tractor engine that were adapted for road use in these trucks, and not very well actually, which is why I'm changing a motor again. So this truck is the one that sat right there for several years now and has a bed full of rotten leaves, and usually it's full of water because it just hasn't moved. There's been nothing done with it. So it's not going to go back right there, I'll tell you that much. I'm going to clean this bed out and maybe clean some of that broken glass and shit out of here. And who knows what the future has in store for it, but it's not going to have a motor in it for a long time, I guarantee you that. So, hey, I hope this was helpful to you. I don't get the opportunity to do this job that often anymore, so I wanted to show you, or at least walk you through it real quick. It's better than jumping out into this job with, you know, absolutely no idea what you're looking at. So, you know, it's not like a time-lapse video where I'm showing you everything that you have to do, but it should help you guys. So, like and subscribe to the channel if you would, please, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.